Let's imagine a simple case, Mr. Smith, the same Mr. Smith we met in the street before. If he's not lost in the website, let's say he writes a contribution. Some did, so it is possible. But what happens next? What about the future of Mr. Smith's contribution? Who will work on it? Is there only someone who will read it? Is there anybody who will take his point of view into consideration? Is there anybody able to write to Mr. Smith telling him, thanks, Mr. Smith, you will be able to find your contribution on the paragraph, for example, 3A or 10B of our final draft? This never happens, and the people know it. Mr. Smith knows it. So what is the use of the website in this case? What is the real purpose of it? You will all here know that the point of view of a lobbyist, because that's his job. I mean, a lobbyist will be heard on that kind of platform, but not Mr. Smith. But the thing is, at the end of it, we are quite proud of our website, and we call this e-democracy because we gave an opportunity to Mr. Smith to interact with its institutions. So if I look a little cynical, but this is the way the people, at least in France, understand EU, e-democracy. And I personally can blame them for that. Using e-tools does definitively not build in itself an e-democracy. The question you are asking is also quite symptomatic of the situation we have. The development on wide use of powerful new ICT applications is transforming the way citizens and civil society interact, debate, and participate in public life. These new tools have enormous potential to enhance decision-making processes by involving large numbers of EU citizens. This is for sure. But those people do not interact with you or us. They do interact between them today. You can see it on pure media players, on blogs, via Twitter, Facebook, etc., etc. They sometimes interact with us, with politicians, because they want to get access to information, because they want to have answers. They want to understand what's up at the parliament. And this is good, but it is far from participating in an administrative or legislative process. The best practices we have today is sharing information and explaining to the people what we really do day after day, and it is already something pretty new, but it is definitively not enough. Building an e-democracy is no more different than building a democracy. And to many people, EU is far from being a democracy. They just have the feeling they have absolutely no power on the institutions and just quit, thinking, hey guys, let's do EU stuff. Anyway, you just do not bother with what we can think, so go on. And this is the same for any election. It is not specific EU syndrome, but a much wider one. Just an example or an anecdote. A few months ago, I was in Paris having a drink with many important bloggers like Kate Delmas, Narvik, Thierry Creuset, maybe some of them know them. All are very read and well-known in France, and they have a huge influence on the blogosphere. They are all very involved in politics, but none of them is no more voting. They do politics, but let's say civil politics within civilian communities, because they do not believe anymore in the institutions or in the politicians. They say, guys, do whatever you want, we'll do our life on our side without you. Because whatever you call a democracy or e-democracy, you only have the word and absolutely not the philosophy and the will of building it. I'm sure the institutions really do understand the gap. I'm not sure the institutions really do understand the gap that exists between them and the citizens, but it is anyway in France a huge, huge one. What could help to be a little less dark and more optimistic? The citizen initiative citoyenne, And the work done in the petitions committee could be a start of answer. Taking the claims of the citizen, listen to them and really works with them could help. And that's what Sandrine Belier is trying to do today. Taking the claims of the citizens, listen to them, is today very important to the citizens. For this, you can use e-tools, but as an answer to their needs and not as a simple communication tool, which purpose is just to say, hey guys, we are smart because we use ICT. This is not working that way. And this is the first thing we have to understand to maybe one day really manage to build an e-democracy. Second point, which could help, and this is another major point, fight any try to put internet under state control. I'm thinking here about the telecom package. I'm thinking here about ACTA, Adopi in France, LOPSI in France. And we need a net neutrality as well, because that's the only way we will manage to talk with the people and make them participate in any debate. If you don't do this, just don't even imagine you'll build one day a new democracy. I'm sorry if it looks a little pessimistic, but these things have to be heard, I guess. And that's it. Thanks for your attention.